Yesterday we started talking about factoring quadratic trinomials. We talked about method 1, which was our reverse FOIL, and we talked about method 2, which was our box method. Today we're going to talk about methods 3 and 4. So our method 3 is called the diamond method. This works for any value of a. Our steps: in the top diamond, in the top triangle, you're going to put your product of a times c. In the bottom, you're going to put your value of b. The left and the right locations are the numbers that, when multiplied, give us a and c, and when added, give us b. That is, E times F is equal to A times C, and E plus F is equal to B. Then you have to put a fraction bar over the left and the right values and put A on top. Reduce, and then after you reduce, the top part of the fraction bar is the x coefficient of the binomial factor, and the bottom part is the constant part. So what they're telling you to do here is, in this example, our a is 2, our b is -5, and our c is -3. So a times c is our 2 times -3, which is our -6. That's why they put that over here. Our b is our -5. We had to figure out what factors of AC, right? Remember, if we take a look at 6, we either have 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. Our back is negative, so we have to figure out which combination is going to give us these numbers. This one is a lot more complicated, so if you don't want to use this one, that's fine. We have our 1 and 6, or 6 and 1, 2 and 3, or 3 and 2. And we'll find out that the one that's going to work for us is -6 and 1, since -6 times 1 gives us -6, and -6 plus 1 will give us -5. Then what they're telling you to do is take your original, your a, and they're telling you to divide by -6, and over here, divide by 1. So what you're going to end up getting is 2x divided by -6. The 2 and the 6 are going to cancel out, and you'll be left with, this should be 1/3. So then what's going to end up happening is that's going to translate to x minus 3. Over here, you're going to have your 2x divided by 1, which is going to give you 2x, this is positive 1, so plus 1. So that's why they're saying the factored version is x minus 3 times 2x plus 1, which you get over here. This one's a little bit more complicated, but what they're saying is take our a, which is 6 here, b here is -1, and c is -2. If we multiply our a times our c, that's going to give us 6 times -2, which is going to give us -12. So we're going to look for factors that are going to multiply to our 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And we want to be able to add to our -1. we know we're going to have different signs since our back is negative. So here we're going to put our 6. Oh, sorry, 12. I was looking at the other one. Here we're going to be putting our 12, and that's going to be negative because that's our A times C. Here we're going to be putting our B, which our B in this case is negative 1. So now we have to figure out what is going to multiply to our negative 12 and combine to our negative 1. And we'll see that it's going to end up being our negative 4 and 3. Because if we do our plus, minus, and total, we'll see that the only one that's going to work to bring up negative 1 is if we have positive 3 and negative 4, since 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So now they're saying, in order to figure this out, to take your A, in this case, which is 6, x, and divide by negative 4, and take our 6x and divide by 3. When we reduce, this isn't going to go evenly. We can reduce by 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So this is going to be 3x over negative 2. So they're saying that this is going to be 3x minus 2. Over here, it actually does reduce fully. This is going to end up being x over 1. So this is going to give us x plus 1. So our answer is reduced down to 3x minus 2 times x plus 1. And we need to multiply to see if it's correct. And what we'll see is it's not quite going to be there. Because notice, we want to get 6x squared. When we multiply, we're really only going to get 3x squared. So that's why this one is a little bit more complicated. With this one, I much more prefer our second method that we did, the box method, in order to solve it. Because if we do that, we'll see we'll get that one right. So I'm going to do the box method here to show you. So we have our 6x squared, which was our A, and we have negative 2, right? So now we have to take a look at our factors that are going to get it for us. I said our factors are negative 4 and 3. So this is going to be negative 4x and our 3x. So this is going to get us 6x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 2. We do our grouping. We have to pull out our greatest common factor. So basically what we're going to have here is our greatest common factor here is going to be 3x. When we pull that out, that's going to end up giving us 2x plus 1. Over here, this is telling us our greatest common factor is negative 2. When we pull that out, we're left with x plus 2x plus 1. And which is good. We want to see the same thing over here. So we're going to take our outside and put that together. 3x minus 2. And we're going to take our inside and put that together. 2x plus 1. So that should be our correct answer. So if we take a look, it was almost there, something happened with what they were telling us to do, and we just missed. Ah, I see what happened. It was my fault. Calculation. We have 6 minus 3 is 2. So it is correct. If you make a mistake in the calculation, it could be wrong. So this one is harder. It does work. As we can see, we got the same thing by doing our method 2. But I feel like it's a little bit harder. If you want to do it, that's fine. But I feel out of between method 3 and method 2 that method 2 is easier. So this is a little bit with our method 3. If we take a look, so our final answer in both method 1 and method 2 got us exactly the same thing. Okay. So that was our method 3. Method 4 is called the slide and divide. So with our slide and divide, this method works for any value of a. So for our methods 2, 3, and 4 work for any value of a. Method 1 only works when your a is equal to 1. So our slide and divide method, slide the leading coefficient a to the end and multiply it by c. Pull out common factors if any. Now we have to put, now we have the simple case when a is equal to 1. We can factor using our method 1. Put back the number you slid by dividing the number in each binomial by a. Simplify the fractions. If there is a denominator left in one of the binomials, make it the coefficient of the x term for that binomial. So they're telling us factor 3x squared plus x. So they're sliding 3 to the end and multiplying it by c. 3 times negative 10 gives us our negative 30. Then they're factoring using method 1. So the way they're factoring it is saying, all right, well, I have 30. I want numbers that are going to multiply to give me 30. 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6. But we also want it to combine to 1. We see our back as negative, so we're going to end up having different signs. So we're going to have to do plus, minus, total. And we see the only one that's going to work for us to get our positive 1 is positive 6 minus 5. That's why they're doing here positive 6 minus 5. Then they're dividing the numbers by a. So our a was originally 3. They're dividing 6 by 3 and dividing negative 5 by 3. 6 divided by 3 gives us 2. Negative 5 divided by 3 doesn't reduce evenly, so there's a fraction left. They're moving the denominator 3 in front of the coefficient. So they're moving the 3 from here to here. And they're getting x plus 2 times 3x minus 5. So, with this example here, let's show an example of the slide and divide. So we have 2. They're going to be sliding the 2 to the end and multiplying. 2 times 5 is 10. So we're going to change this up to be x squared minus 7x plus 10. The back is positive, which means that both of our bubbles are going to be the same sign, and our middle is negative, meaning both our bubbles are going to be negative. So we have to figure out what multiplies to 10. We have 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. We have negative 1 plus negative 10 is negative 11. That doesn't work. Negative 2 plus negative 5 is negative 7. That does work. So what we're going to have is we're going to start off by saying, all right, well, that means we have x minus 2, x minus 5. So now we're up to step 3. We have to divide the numbers by a. Our a was 2 before. Remember here we had our A is 2, B is negative 7, and C was 10. Sorry, 5. A times C was 10. So we have to divide both our numbers by 2. So we have x minus 2 divided by 2, x minus 5 divided by 2. So that's going to end up giving us x minus 1. This doesn't reduce. We're left with x minus 5 over 2. Because we have a fraction left, we have to move it from our denominator to the coefficient. So our final answer is going to give us x minus 1 times 2x minus 5. And we'll see if we do our FOIL. X times 2x gives us 2x squared. X times negative 5 is going to give us negative 5x. Negative 1 times 2x is going to give us negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 5 is going to give us positive 5. So this will work out for us. So this is our method 4, our slide and divide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post examples, the examples that you did with method 1, method 2. And instead of solving them with method 1, method 2, I want you to solve them using method 3 and method 4. And then after you utilize method 3 and method 4, let me know which method you like the best. Whether you like method 1 the best, method 2 the best, method 3 the best, or method 4 the best. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Thank you.